Okay, hello everyone. I welcome us back to ninth class. I welcome us back again. So in today's class, or let me say tonight's class, I will continue by explaining Excel formulas and function. I've shared like a Microsoft Excel data on the on the Telegram page, and I believe everybody would have downloaded it. Although some are asking me like what is it called? I should explain more on absolute referencing. I think most people are finding it difficult to like get along uh with the absolute the one I use dollar signs and the like. So I think some are finding it difficult. So I'm just going to start from there. Then after that, I'm going to use the data set that I asked us to use for the assignment to do what is it called? To do the pivot table. So I'm going to do that, then try to use the data set I sent to the group. So just to wrap up like exact formula and function, and we can proceed by doing other things and just like that. So and if you also have that like the chat box of like saying anything if you want me to expatiate on something, maybe while talking or while explaining, and you can call my attention to them if you are finding it hard to catch up with what I'm saying. So I'm going to share my screen now. So and at least a great numbers of people have submitted the based on the result I was able to put together. I think I already have like 90 something people that have submitted the assignment. Still expecting some, although in this class I'll be explaining how to go about it. So anybody that is submitting after this class, even if I'm grading the assignment, I may reduce the mark because I'm already showing how you are going to go about it, and the idea is for you to make research on your own and see how far you can like get it done. So now I'm sharing my screen. Let me check on my Microsoft Excel. So I'm waiting for my Microsoft Excel to to show. Mm, okay, I'll first use like a normal sheet here and try to explain what absolute referencing is all about. So now, for example, if we have like, let me just use name. Okay, should I use name? Should I use name? Let me try to look for. I just want to find a data set I can use. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me just see. Let me just go with. Okay. Okay, just give me a minute so that I can get this done. Okay, I think I just have to. So I'm trying to look for a data set I can formulate to be able to get this done. Okay, let me just type. I think from that data set, I'm finding it hard to access the data. That data set here. That's why I've not. So I will just type it out. But okay, let me type chocolate. I think is the perfect example for using cell referencing. So revenue. So we have revenue, we have cost, we have tax. Then I can just space it and use actual profit here. Then I'm going to use profit split. This is inside the data set I sent to the group, but just that I'm using two laptop and the is on the other one that the data set is on. So and I cannot use the second laptop for this class because it's a MacBook. So that's why I'm using this. I just have to type this out, but I hope I'll be able to transfer it along the line. So I'm going to type this actual profit, then for the I'll be using chocolate chips, oatmeal rising, so sugar cookie, so I will just use a normal number that won't stress me. So I will just use 12. Then what is the cost? So 20 profit, then So what I just need to use here is to okay. So this is the data set, and we can give this color if you want to. If you want to change the color just to make it different, we can give it any color of our choice. And you can change the color of the background as well if you want it to just look something different. So but what I'm trying to do here is we have revenue. I want to zoom it a bit. Oh, this is too much. Okay, I don't think it's too much. So we have chocolate chip, we have oatmeal rising, we have sugar cookie, and these are like three main products that this particular person is selling, right? And this has like it has like a certain amount like for the revenue and cost. Like the two main parts that we need to deal with here is what is called revenue and what is called cost. So on this data set there is a data for revenue for chocolate chips, oatmeal rising and sugar cookie. So here I'll just put in any random number of my choice. So but in the real life that can be just be like their normal sales or normal activities going on in their company. So 15. So this is like the actual revenue and cost for each product. And here there is something called tax. Maybe in this country where this company is operating, is mandatory to pay tax. And when you like before you can consider a profit from what you are selling, you have to have removed your tax from the product you are selling. So if you are getting like before you can just say this is my profit from my revenue and my cost, I have to remove my tax, and after removing my tax, that's when I can now say that this is my profit. So here now, if you want to calculate profit here, okay, let me make revenue bigger so that the calculation will make sense a bit. So let me just use revenue to be 300. Then let me call this, let me add 0. So these are just like revenue and cost. And what we need to do here, the main target here, this data can be a very large one, but it's just like we're just representing a bigger concept in a small data set. So we already have chocolate chips, oatmeal rising, sugar cookie, right? And before this person can boast on his profit, he has to have removed tax from what the product, like the revenue and the cost. And now they have a tax. Their tax is 10%. Like the tax rate in this particular company is 10%. So and how can that be done? So you have to calculate like 10% of you have to calculate 10% of their revenue. You don't necessarily need to bother. Okay, let me even put the tax here so that I can easily drag it. So you don't like before this company can talk about his profit, he would have remove tax from each and every one of them. And now you want to calculate profit of all these products, these three products. And mind you, you have to consider the tax. So if I just say, if I want to like get the profit of this product, if I want to calculate my revenue, I have to, if I want to calculate the tax of these products, I have to multiply 10 with my revenue, right? So if I click on, okay, my revenue is B3, abi? That's like B3 equals to B3. So if I just use multiply by the tax, which is F3 as well, and I click enter, the tax for like the, oh, like that should be tax, sorry. I should calculate for my tax is 12. Let me clear that. That's like a mistake. I should have done that in the tax column, not uh so now for the tax for chocolate chips is, I'm referencing the cell of B3, and also I'm referencing the cell of F. What I'm trying to explain here is absolute cell referencing. What brought the ideas of me locking using dollar sign in the beginning and dollar sign at the end. That's what I really want to explain here. So now I want to calculate tax, and you know that this tax is applicable to every product, that is chocolate chips, oatmeal rising, sugar cookie. So now I've used for tax, which is 10%. Then I'm now multiplying it with my revenue, because revenue is the main thing. So I'm multiplying my revenue. I cannot be multiplying cost price with the tax. Tax cannot go with cost price, but tax can definitely could go with your revenue, because that's like your money. So I'm multiplying my revenue for chocolate chips times tax, which is this B2, B3. I'm referencing B3 and F3, and you can see that it has already been highlighted. So if I click enter now, it's giving me 12, which is the right thing. Now I don't necessarily need to bother myself about other cells. So if I drag it, I'm trying to drag it. So I just want to drag it, and you can see the result here. I believe everybody can see this. You see that the result, the only correct answer here is this 12. And if I click on this 12, you can see that it's able to reference B3 and F3, and this is correct. But immediately I drag it here, this is referencing C3 and empty cells after F3. So if I also click on this, it's referencing another cell, it's referencing D3, which is correct, but it's also referencing an empty cell that is not correlated, because what I really want is, I want my tax to be multiplied with all my revenue across chocolate chips, across oatmeal rising and sugar cookie. So what will really help me to do this accurately is by locking this cell that tax belong. If I could not lock it, I'm not going to get like that result. You can just see here, you can imagine here that it has zero, and it's also doing correct thing, but it's just that it's not working with this tax anymore. The first one was the only one that worked with the tax, and the other one we're just moving to an empty cell, that is after that particular uh particular particular cell. So now for me to now be able to get this done, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to lock this cell, which is for tax. Then once I'm able to lock that cell, which is the tax, then I'll be able to like multiply it, and it's going to take effect. So how can I do that is by coming down here again, like just to do. So I have to come here, then put dollar sign in front of my f, and also I'll also put dollar sign after f, but I won't put it after 3 because I'm trying to lock this f3, but it's the f that is the most important things. But at times it may be like just because this referencing goes in two ways. It may be you are locking by row or you are locking by column. So at times you may need to specify by putting the dollar sign first, then the column name, which is like f or b or anything, then followed by the number, then at times followed by dollar sign, or even it may just be like a dollar sign before and that's all. But in this scenario I want to lock both the column and the row of that f3. That's why I'm using at the beginning of f and at also at the end of f. So now if I press enter, e gave me 12, which is the accurate answer. But if I try to move it, I'll move it here and I press enter. Okay, if if I move this now, if I drag this to other. Okay, I need to clear this first. Let me clear it first so that we can. So now I've gotten the answer here by locking it. So if I try to auto complete now, so now we can see now that this calculated it accurately. If I click here, you will see that we have b3 multiplied by this f3. If I also click here, you will see that this particular item is also multiplied by this tax. If I also click on this, it also multiply. The reason why the multiplication does not change to that tax is because this tax columns and row has been locked, and what we do use to lock it is that dollar sign. So if I click on this as well, you see that it has also been locked. That's why it's not changing. So once you are able to lock it, it's not going to change anymore. So that's just like what the essence of using that dollar sign, and we call it absolute referencing. So the basic reason is when you are dragging or you want it to be autocomplete, you don't want anything to be like, you don't want those value to change, because the more you drag it, the more you do the autocomplete, it's going to change. But when you do your absolute referencing by locking that row or column, it's not going to change. So that's just the basic reason why we use it. So now I can easily calculate the profit by minusing my cost from my revenue. So because when you check your cost from your revenue, you'll be able to check your profit, and we can use equals to b3. Okay, somebody was typing something sir in the data. This, that is it, you multiply profit with. Okay. Yeah, the profit should be that's a mistake. Actually, that's a mistake, because from revenue, still you still like, what you can pay tax on should be your profit. Yeah, what you can pay tax on should be your profit. So it's actually correct from that data. So I'm going to change it now. I'm going to change it. Thanks for that. So our revenue minus cost, like when you minus your cost from your revenue, you get your profit. So the profit now is like b3 minus b4. So b4. So when we minus b3 minus b4, that's how we can get our profit, and our profit here is 100. But it's just because this how can cost be. So let me just increase it, let me just put 100 here. so that those data will not just look somehow. So let's just make profit just like, okay, let me use 150 here, and let me use 100 as well. So now for me to get this profit, I can easily drag it. So once I drag it, it's going to auto complete. Okay. So now we can get our profit now is 20. So what we are going to do is we are just going to multiply. Okay, the profit now will now be B4. So instead of, is it B4? No, it's going to be B5, which is our profit. So if I click on enter, our tax now is now like multiplying 20, which is the profit, multiplied by 10% is giving us this. So I can just auto complete it, but it's still the same process. It's just like instead of using profit, I use revenue. So now I've used profit here. So now it's showing C5 multiplied by F3. But it's just like the basic idea is not, don't be too tied with, okay, it's revenue, it's profit, it's cost. The main idea is what I'm just trying to show is when you lock it, like if you want to multiply a certain number, or you want to work with a certain cell that you don't want any changes to occur while multiplying or while doing anything, while doing some mathematical operation with the data, you need to do absolute referencing by using dollar sign to lock that cell. That's just like the basic idea. So you can work with any of the items, maybe like revenue, cost, profit. But in the real sense, like real life, profit should be what we are going to calculate our tax on, because you can only pay tax on your profit. But I don't know, because I've not been paying. I don't think I've paid tax in my life, so I don't really know how it works. But I know that tax should be paid on a profit, not a revenue. That should be a mistake, but the main idea is you understanding how to get it done. So that's what we did with the sum if, like just trying to log those, like trying to check the quantity for each. Okay, let me even see if I can, if I'll be able to click on that data set, if the data set is there. Let me see. Okay, I think it's there. Oh no. So I'm going to look for the data set here, that particular data set that we use. Okay, I think this is it, so that it will be faster. So now what we are trying to do here, what we are trying to achieve as well, is like we are trying to get we are trying to get the quantity sold of iPhone in each region. And we know that if we are able to get one, and our main goal is to get the quantity, like the total quantity for each iPhone in each region, and we don't want any changes, or we don't want our Excel to give us a wrong value or wrong summation, and we thinking that is actually right. So that's the basic reason why we are locking it, that anytime we are although if you want to do the calculation for each iPhone differently, there will not be an error and there will not be an issue. If you calculate it yourself, like if you just type sum if, like without using any locking or no locking, if you use the sum if without using the dollar sign, you are going to do it repeatedly. That is, you are going to do it for each iPhone, each region. Like you are going to calculate the sum if in for each iPhone and also for each region. But using the dollar sign, the dollar sign will help you, like using, let me just say using absolute referencing, is going to help you to auto complete it, and there will not be a changes. Like you will be rest assured that there is no, so there will not, you know that you will know that the result that is giving you, there will not be an error, and it's something that you can also verify. But locking it, that's just like doing the absolute referencing. That's what the dollar sign is being used for. When you start the cell with dollar and you use dollar after, that's like you are locking both the rows and the columns of that particular item. So if you drag it, it's not going to change, it's going to be fixed. So it's just like you are locking the cell, and they call it absolute referencing. So and that's what we did. And the reason why I gave us assignment to do with pivot table is what you are actually doing, what you are trying to achieve with your um absolute referencing is something that you can easily get done in pivot table without any stress. So I'm just starting the stuff with introducing you to the formulas and function and how you can do it. I would have just jump it and just go to pivot table, but I feel that it's something that is necessary to know. So that's just it. But I'm going to do like just try to teach us pivot table now. Pivot table is just like a ways of getting like a summary of what is actually important in your data. So this is the data set here. This is the data set that we are working with. So this is the data set that we are working with. I want to make it bigger. So this is the data set that we are working with. So I'm just going to work with it afresh, and you will remember that okay, the goal of working with this data is we want to get the quantity sold of iPhone in each region. That's our goal, so that we can track the quantity sold of those iPhone in those region, and we'll be able to compare to see the product, that is the iPhone that is really doing well and the one that is not really doing well. That's the basic focus. And the first approach that we can use to solve it is by using formula and function, by taking the unique value. We can start by doing, just like I said, you can use like you can try your best by starting with creating a filter for the table. When you create a filter for the table, that will enable you to see the unique value in your data set. So when you see the unique value, you'll be able to know, okay, these are the unique value that are being repeated in this data set. But it's also nice if you can use the unique value, just the unique function, just like as I explained in the normal, and those that trying it in their Microsoft Excel and it's not working, another alternative way to do it is by using Google Spreadsheet. Using Google Spreadsheet, you'll be able to do it. And also you can upgrade your Microsoft Excel to the uh to like 2019 and 2021. I'm sure that 2019 will do it. So doing unique for D3, let me just say D3 to D36. So if I click on enter now, I can easily see I can easily see that okay, these are the unique value in product, and just like I've explained before. So if I do also for equals to okay, unique, then bracket region, for the region which is B3 then to B36. So if I also did the same, you can see that I also have the unique value here, and I can transpose it like arranging it, but I'm not doing that now because it's something that we've discussed before. So now what I really want to do is, okay, how can we achieve this by using a pivot table? And all these things are actually, pivot table is a very nice technique because when anytime you are working with a data set, like a very large data set, one thing that is very important is you using your ability to use pivot table. Pivot table will give you a summary of the whole thing that is present in your data, and you'll be able to see like that insight in a very simple way. So you can highlight your data set by just clicking that. It's going to, by over on this, it's going to highlight everything. Then just go to insert. When you get to insert, you will see pivot table here. Click on pivot table. Then You will see two options here. The first option is from table or range, then from external data source. Here we are not using external data source, we are using the data set that we have here. So if I click on this, it's going to ask me, am I trying to create a new sheet, or I'm trying to work on the existing sheet. I think the best sheet, like the best approach, is working on a new sheet. That is, the pivot table should be created in a new sheet to make our work presentable. So if we put the if the what is it called, if the pivot table is still on this particular sheet, I think it's not really presentable. So we can create another sheet where that particular pivot table can appear. So this is it. I'm going to click on this, and let me see. Okay, choose whether you want to analyze multiple tables. So I don't think I need this. Then if I click on okay, okay, so the table range should be from B. Me highlighting it, I thought maybe it would have just helped me to highlight everything. So B36. So now it has already show here, and okay. I think there's a mistake. So there's a mistake. Let me just delete it and try it again. So there's a mistake. I have to do that again. So I'll just click on insert here. So the insert, where is the insert? So there's some Excel that it will just give you the range by itself. So but this one is not giving the range. So I have to type it out myself. So I think we are starting from B2, which is the region, then to E36. Let me see if this is going to work. Yes. So it already worked now, and here we already have, if looking at this side, you see that this is already present. So we already have like the we already have the region here, we have the store ID, we have the product, we have the quantity. So immediately I'm clicking on it, all these things keep appearing. But when you are also trying to present your findings, you must just also, like, you won't just you cannot just do it anyhow, because I some submitting the assignment to me, some just make the summation of everything at once. So you must also try to, the one we use the formulas and function to do, like try to place the product on the top. Okay, we place the, what is it called? Let me check. So this is how we, so that I won't miss anything here. So you can see we place the region on the top, and we place the iPhone at the, like, we place the product, abi I said product, we press the region, like the horizontal part of it, that is, we make it the header, while we place the product at the vertical axis, like just trying to create a table where it will now be easier for us to be able to know that, okay, this is iPhone 11 sold in America, this is iPhone 12 sold in APAC. What I'm trying to say is that, to make it like, it's like you are telling story with data, right? So you have to do it in a way that it will be convenient for you and anybody that and as a data analyst, you must learn how to present your solution in a way that when stakeholders or product manager or project manager, depending on who you are working with. So you must learn to do your analysis in a way that when they see it, they tend to understand it so fast than you just creating a problem with for them. So because I realize so many people submitting their assignment, they just did everything, even some works on as store ID. Store ID is not adding anything to your analysis. So you can just, it's something that you can just unchecked, and you putting it in a proper, just like the way we did for that formula using some if, is very very presentable. So that's the like the approach I thought that everybody is going to give to it, but unfortunately people are just doing it anyhow. There are some that did it in this way, and some just even make the summation of the whole things. I cannot really say that okay, this is for iPhone 11, or they just sum everything in each region, like that three regions, and they just put the answer. So if you are like, if you are presenting in the real life, or you are giving it out, or somebody even give you a data analysis jobs and you just do it that way, who will pay you? The main reason why you are learning is to get a job, and while learning there is a culture, or there is this approach that you need to learn while when you are even learning, because what you are doing now may be what you'll be doing even when you start a job, and all those things are not, they are not a how can I say, what I'm just trying to say in essence is, as we are learning, let's be learning best practice, like be putting anything you are doing, put in your effort, try your best, don't just do it anyhow. And I think that's the best thing sha. So store ID does not really have any impact on the table. So you can, this is how, okay, in this scenario, like in this approach that you are looking at, we can see the sum of the quantity and also the row label which we have for Americas, APAC, EMA. But in this kind of set, I'm not going to leave my answer in this way, because to me it's not really giving that information in a very easy way. So I'm not going to leave it this way. I would rather turn it to maybe like horizontal, like putting the the region name and also the product name. So that's how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to uncheck this, and if your Microsoft Excel has this kind of box, you can also try to drag it inside, like you can do for rows and column, anyone you want to be in your column, or anyone that you want, like just to make the arrangement of the table. So you can make, you can shift some to column, you can put some in row, depending on what exactly you want. So here I'm going to drag uh my region to, I'm going to drag my region to column. So I'm going to drag it to column. So I'm going to drag it to column. That's what I'm going to do. For quantity, quantity will be under value. Why I want to put my region on the, I want to put my I want to put my region to column. So I can also filter. I can create a filter. Okay, this is just like the table that we have. So here we have so here we, this is what we have here. We have for iPhone. iPhone here is now in this row label. So I don't think I need the row label. That's why I clean that. And also I can also clean this as well. So in some scenario it may be like you are not working with the sum of the quantity. You can also change it, maybe like average, or depending on what you are actually working on or what exactly you want to see. So that will be like the major driver of what you are trying to do. So here, this is my pivot table here. So I already have, for my product, iPhone 11, 12, 6, 7, and 8. And for America, I have this quantity, like I have this these are just like the quantity sold in each product in each region. And this is helping me to add this grand total, is actually adding, okay, the total iPhone 11 sold, even both in America, APAC and EMA. And also this is also adding all the iPhones, like all the iPhones sold in America alone. That is just for this Apple company to keep tracks of what is going on with their products or their sales. So he's able to keep tracks of all the iPhones sold in America. And all the here we can easily dictate that, okay, iPhone sold in America has the highest, which is 50, which is 5,050. That is all the iPhone sold in America. The iPhone 11, 12, 6, 7, 8. The total of all the iPhones sold in America has 5,050, while the total sales of iPhone both 11, 12, 6, 7, and 8 is just 2023, while iPhone sold in EMA, which is 11, 12, 6, all dis, we only have the total of 1,493. And we can also consider dem one after the other to see how dis sales, dis, like as a data analyst, your job is just like to get all dis insight, try to present it in a way that a company can act upon dem and help dem in making some certain decision that is a data driven. That is, they want to make some decision, but they cannot just make those decision except those decisions are being backed up with data. And you need to work on their data, like to get all this kind of insight. And when you get it, your ability to communicate with them, okay, these are things you saw, these are things they can improve on, or these are things they could do better. Or just like in this table now, I can tell them that iPhone 6, 7, and 8, they should stop producing them. So even both in America, both in APAC, EMA, so they should just stop producing iPhone 6, 7, and 8 so that they can use maybe money that is going into production part of iPhone 6, 7, and 8, they can invest it in something else. And iPhone 11 here actually did best in America. And we can see that iPhone 12 sold in America is kind of low compared to iPhone 11. This could be maybe like they are not doing proper advertisement about iPhone 12, because iPhone 11 came before iPhone 12, and we can see that a lot of people actually bought iPhone 11. That's why they are using it. But when we are checking for iPhone 12, we could see that the number reduced. So it may be like people are not hearing more about the new product and they need to improve their advertisement. Or maybe the price that they give iPhone 12 is kind of high, that a lot of people could not afford it. So all these things can be like a determinant of their sales, and it can help them to make a better decision on what next. And for APAC, we can see that iPhone 11 sold in APAC is very small compared to iPhone 12. And you can see that iPhone 11 came before iPhone 12. So in this scenario, is it that people in APAC, they tend to admire iPhone 12 because of some certain features that iPhone 12 came with. That's why they are purchasing iPhone 12 than iPhone 11, or maybe like they are doing more publicity for iPhone 12 than iPhone 11, or various things could happen, or maybe like there is no store where they can sell, where they can get iPhone 11. That's why they are going for 12. This can be because when you are making some analysis, don't just analyze data. You have to pay attention to details. You have to be able to reason along, like know, have your thought process while you may do analysis within a short time and get it done, but your ability to be able to write out something that is presentable, that's the critical part, and that is the main part of the job. So anybody can do analysis, but it's not anybody that can interpret what you've done or what you are doing, or it's not everybody that can communicate something. Everybody can just come to Excel, do pivot table or do anything, but your ability to now interpret or tell them some major things that they need to act upon that can improve their business, that's where the expertise comes in. So this is just it here. And if it's not, like, we can still look into the angle of, is this table is this table easy to see, or is it something that when they just check they tend to understand what is going on? Should we need to create a conditional formatting with this data, or do we need to just create a visuals? So here I'm going to be creating a visuals for it to see how it's going to look, and see if that will be a better option. So I can click on recommended chart, so that I can just see the one that is best for the job. So here I will click the first one. I think the first one is the best for now. So here this is the chart representing this particular, and you can see here we have, this is showing series 1 and series 2 and series 3. And is this series 1 and 3 we are working with? So okay, so we have our iPhone 11 here. We also have like iPhone 12, we have iPhone 6, we have iPhone 7, then iPhone 8. And this graph is just showing the quantity of this particular iPhone in this particular region. So basically what is showing is these products sold in, so this region should not be in series, but I don't know why it's showing series. So I have to format the chart. So what I'm trying to do here is just I just want to change it, because that series should be like, what should be there is America, APAC and EMA. So what should be on that? So I don't know why this thing is not responding. So this is just what I'm trying to do actually. So this is just what I'm trying to do. Like she just trying to put the chart of what is going on here, and you can see this is just what we are trying to achieve with our absolute referencing, lucky day cells and all. So you can easily get it done using a pivot table, and this pivot table can be used with a lot of things. So what I will be doing is, for me to release that data set, I will give us as another assignment by trying to import that data to our Microsoft Excel sheet, and all of them have done the solution to all the all the data sets there. If you click on solution, you will find solution. I've done everything. So you can just follow it and see my formulas, my function, all I use, and just try to replicate it on your own as well. So that will be the assignment, but I will ask for it later, but don't submit it yet. So I'm going to ask for it later. So the next class, we try to be working on maybe like Excel dashboard. So I think after that we can move to another thing. So I will tomorrow should be the next class. So I will try to see if we can start Excel dashboard tomorrow, like how we can build a dashboard using Excel. So after that we can move to next thing, like maybe like Power BI or Python. But that particular file, let's try our best in going through them, clicking it, all the formulas and function, everything is right there. So you don't necessarily, if you are not getting it, then you can ask on the group. So I think this is where we are going to stop for today. This is like pivot table. I've tried to explain cell referencing, how you can reference a cells and lock it. So the main idea is just normal reference, like you clicking on, okay, this cell is B2, B3. That's just like normal referencing, like you are just referencing that cell. But when it comes to absolute referencing, that's when locking comes in place. That is, you are referencing that cell absolutely, and you don't want any changes even while dragging it to, like just making, just like making that you can, it can be that like you are multiplying a number with it, or you are performing any arithmetic operation. But once you reference it absolutely, that particular rows and column will be locked, and when you drag it, there will not be changes. So that's just how best I can explain it. And pivot table, I've shown how to use pivot table and we've all seen it. So it's very simple to use it. So this is where we are going to stop. Tomorrow we'll be laying our hands on dashboard, and the assignment I will give us is the data set I shared. Just click on those. Okay, maybe tomorrow I can just go through it, because I know some may not be able to. So I will try my best to go through that particular file tomorrow. Then on Thursday we'll be building a dashboard, and next week we'll be picking the Power BI. So if you don't have Power BI already, try to download it, and I'm going to look for a YouTube video that explain how you can download and install Power BI as well, so that when we start it next week, everybody will be able to flow along. So this where I'm going to stop for tonight. So good night, everybody.